Hi guys, thanks for bearing with us. I hope you guys have had a really good day. It's been really interesting talking to some of you this afternoon and understanding a little bit more about your challenges and what your boxes do. For me, I work on both sides, acquisition and retention, and it was really interesting when we did the poll just before the break at how much of a focus is on acquisition. Of course it has to be, we have to grow our businesses, but how many of you have had a subscription box and cancelled it? Show of hands? Good few of us in the room, probably around about 80% mark as well. For that reason, it's really important that we also remember to put some focus on retention. Okay? Since I've started working in the subscription landscape for many years now, there's been a real shift in how companies view retention. Okay? When I started many moons ago, it was very much hush hush, don't talk to the consumer, don't remind them that we're taking money from their bank account every month. Shh. Thankfully, times have changed, technology's changed, and also the consumer demographic has changed massively. So now, actually, rather than being hush-hush, take their money every month, it's really important that actually we engage with them and we build a relationship with them in order to retain them. Why do we want to retain them? So that we build profitable subscription bases. Okay? So, a couple of key points for retention then. First thing to bear in mind about retention is that it's far cheaper to retain a subscriber than it is to go and find a new one. So you put loads and loads and loads of effort into building your subscription base, learning about your customer profiles, and also trying to win them over. Once you've done all of that work, why would you want to let them slip through the cracks? We don't, we want to keep them. Next up, retention. High retention rates increase the average revenue per user. Again, it gives us a more profitable subscription product and business. And also, forthcoming changes in data protection, so the GDPR is on the horizon. It's going to become a lot harder for us as businesses to contact lost customers. So what we need to be doing is trying to maintain those relationships to justify having and using that data. Now, the key standpoints in terms of retention are having good quality products, as all of you do, having excellent customer service, as hopefully all of you do, and also building that relationship. Okay, now building the relationship means that we've got two-way feedback process, we've got interaction with them, we know them and we can keep them happy. So, we heard from Hitwise and Brandwatch earlier today, so just to reinforce the profile of a subscription audience, loyalty is won through interaction and two-way communication. It's really important in today's subscription landscape that we have genuine relationships with our subscribers as much as possible. Obviously, when we're scaling up our volumes, we're not going to know all of our subscribers individually, but it's really important that we understand the subscribers and give them what they want and exceed their expectations. That is the job of marketing, after all, to exceed their expectation. They will be drawn into your subscriptions by your particular products, the quality of your service, the expertise of your customer care, but they will also be very community-minded. So as Brandwise showed earlier, they're very, very quick to be talking in the social landscape and also their local landscape as well. Those that subscribe, we understand, have a higher propensity to be loyal. Obviously, the nature of what they're doing, they're repeat billing, and that in turn breeds loyalty. The difference with a subscriber these days versus a few years ago is that as consumers become more data-minded and more commercially aware, they really, truly now understand the value of their data and of their business. Okay? So if something isn't right for them, they will talk with their feet and they will leave. So as marketeers, it's our challenge really to make sure that we're doing what we can to keep them where they are. Okay? Make them feel valued, have that genuine two-way relationship, and create an honest two-way feedback loop so that if there is a problem, say for example a problem with delivery, that they come and tell us about it rather than talking in their community about it. So, really important as a business that we understand our subscriber lifestyles, okay? Life cycles even, not lifestyles, kind of lifestyles. Subscribers go through different stages. So if you've worked really, really hard on acquisition and done a lot of the things that kind of hopefully you're doing in terms of building traffic, converting it into subscription point, and then they start to repeat bill, you might breathe a sigh of relief. Great, we've got those guys. But during that repeat bills phase that they're going to go through their own individual stages, okay? First stage, honeymoon period, new, exciting. If you've ever subscribed to anything as a new subscriber, you want to tell everyone about it, you're really excited and engaged with what it is. There's a reason why you've handed over your payment details. At some point, depending on your subscription product or service, you're then going to hit a point where you're mature, happy, the magic has worn off, but you're still really happy with your choice and with what that subscription is providing you with. At some point, you're then going to move into a less happy phase. Okay? You might get a bit bored, your needs as a consumer might change, you might feel that there's maybe been a dip in quality for the subscription that you subscribe to. And if that's not addressed, then what's going to happen is that subscriber is going to become a churn risk. Okay? They are potentially going to want to cancel and leave. So if we understand these cycles, what we do is we have the chance to intervene. And we have the chance to tailor our marketing to encourage them into certain actions that promote retention. Okay? While they're in that honeymoon stage, they've got a much higher likelihood that they're going to recommend a friend. Great, free marketing. Use that. Once they go through their happy, mature stage, this is our opportunity when they're in this lovely, I'm happy, here's my money stage. We have this great opportunity to strengthen the bond with them, okay? Start to really build a true relationship with them, getting to know them. If they do become bored and unhappy and that kind of, I'm not sure if I want this product yet, I might cancel, we've got a chance, if we know when that's going to happen or spot that happening, to reinvigorate them. Exceeding their expectations at that point, we'll re-engage them and get them back to being happy again, okay? If we miss that point, then what we're going to need to do is make sure that we're working really closely with customer service, that we've got an excellent channel for them to come and tell us that they're bored and unhappy or thinking about leaving, and a chance to win them back over. At this point, really and truly, we need a bit of FOMO. We need to give them a bit of fear of missing out if they cancel. We need to remind them why it is that they subscribed in the first place. So the way that we do that and the way that we keep them from churning really and truly is keeping them engaged. Now, we know from a customer engagement point of view how essential it is, because a highly engaged customer is 5 times more likely to be brand loyal. So if you're working in a competitive market space with your boxes, you need to really make sure that they're going to stick with you rather than disappearing off to a competitor. If you're not in a competitive box space at the moment, be aware that if a competitor launches with something a bit fresher, a bit newer, then that is a massive risk to your business. Okay, so we want to keep them highly engaged so that they retain with you. We also know from studies recently that highly engaged customers spend 60% more per transaction, and they are they transact 90% more often. Well, if they're on a monthly rolling subscription service, what does that matter, right? We're a subscription company, doesn't matter. Well, actually, highly engaged audience, you've got a much better opportunity if you've got a tiered product system to upgrade them into a higher paid subscription. Or if they're really engaged with their monthly subscription and they're happy, maybe that's the opportunity, that's the time that you try and convert them from a monthly to an annual subscriber. Alternatively, maybe you've got additional products and services that you're also working on or that go hand in hand with your subscription that you can cross-sell into them. Okay? So it's always much more profitable to have an engaged customer base. The way that we engage them is with content. Content is absolutely king for engagement. Content's essential because it helps us to maintain the engagement but also form that relationship in the first place and drive the loyalty that I've just been talking about. What we can do is we can use content to build excitement for upcoming boxes, for example. If you're a monthly, what's coming up in next month's box, a review of what's going to be in there, or a sneak peek. We can use it to reinforce belonging in a community. So as we know, subscribers like to feel part of a community. Okay? They like to be included. They like to be a part of that immersive experience. So what we can do is use content to promote the reinforcement of being a part of that set. We can provide added value for our subscription products, and we can also use content to encourage word of mouth, particularly when they're in that early new honeymoon period. What they're going to do, hopefully, is share our content for us and give us that word of mouth free marketing option. So I've got some examples of content. Now, despite this looking like a Chelsea football site, it's not. It's actually the BT Sport Hub. Now, as a case study, when BT launched BT Sport, they had a bit of an issue because their content was locked behind a paid subscription wall. And they didn't want to use any of that content that people were paying for to promote to new subscribers. and they needed to make sure that they retained the subscribers that were paying for their subscription service. So what they did was they created BT Sport Hub. They made themselves a destination for content that was related to the subscription product. So I know in the room, most of us, we're box companies. Essentially, you might be sitting there thinking, well, how is this relevant to me? The relevancy is that actually you might not be able to promote content around your box. You might not want to give away with the contents of your box, but have a think about what you can do around the contents of that box to promote usage, excitement, and engagement. Another example, anyone a Netflix subscriber? Show of hands. Yeah, quite a lot of us in the room. Yeah. So Netflix, one of the most successful subscription companies in the world. They are really, really successful at using content to retain their subscription base. And again, the way that they do that is they create bespoke content to promote inclusion and create that fear of missing out. Okay? If you're a subscriber and you enjoyed the last series of Black Mirror, which is a Netflix original created series now, used to be on a different channel. But if you know that you enjoy this kind of programming, what Netflix do is to bridge the gap between one series ending and the next series ending, they create a lot of content around the next series. So this particular snippet is an example of a behind-the-scenes documentary that they put on their Facebook page. So it builds excitement about what's coming up, even though people can't see what's coming up yet. And that's really important for engagement, okay? Another example, HelloFresh. We talked a lot about those this afternoon. With HelloFresh, they are a box company. What they do very, very successfully is they create content around the contents of their box. And they use that in a social environment to invigorate and engage their audience and give them ideas about how they can use the contents of that box. So it's not just a case of saying, here's your box, enjoy what's in it. It's, here's a box, look at how this can add to your lifestyle. Your lifestyle. Now, this particular example, they partnered with Match.com and they did a Valentine's event. So they made it seasonally relevant in February to promote the content of their box, to provide engagement with what happens. They created a nice little story around, it's almost like a speed date box date. And what that does is it tells the subscriber ideas about what's going to be in the box. And also what they can do with it. It helps the subscriber to stay happy because it reinforces the fact that, yeah, I'm a part of that community. Maybe not with Match.com, I'm a part of that community that has access to that kind of product. So it gives us almost like a status lift to be a part of that. Really, really important in terms of creating engagement. So the golden question I get asked, and just to kind of wrap up retention as a section, how can I reduce churn? The key answer really to reducing churn is planning for it. Okay? If you accept that churn is going to happen, if you plan for why and when it's going to happen, then you can also start to plan and engage strategies to prevent it. Okay? So knowing your subscription base is really important. Being in touch with customer services and looking at those in side by side is also really important. So some of the examples from the panel, they realised that maybe there was a cost problem, maybe the cost was too high, or maybe there was a problem with the box, or maybe some of the content wasn't quite the expectation. Understanding those kind of customer service issues and building that into your marketing strategy, you can answer those issues and address them before they become a churn issue. So you can stamp out churn that way. The other thing to do is be aware of any payment issues, so making sure regularly that a lot of you have set up through various individual sites, making sure that you're preventing any payment issues is a really big one. Okay? A huge volume of churn happens, not because subscribers are unhappy with the service, but it's because they've encountered a payment issue, they haven't been able to communicate with you about it, or they haven't realised it's happened themselves. Really big example of that is credit card failure. Okay? So if you've got a subscription product that's based on credit card purchases, if they change their card, if they lose their card, if they cancel their credit card, you're not going to be able to repeat bill them. And you're not going to know that until they churn. Okay, so payment issues is another key reason why people leave. And understanding that and checking for that means that you can do something about it. Understanding when they churn. If you've got a product that is highly seasonal, okay, sports-related products as an example, baby-related products is another one. Unfortunately, if you're going to be out of season at some point in the year, you're going to experience key churn periods, okay? So trying to see what else you can do to tide them over past that seasonal point or extend the usage of your subscription is really key. Product life cycle, really important as well, because you might find, actually, I think one of the guys on the panel mentioned it earlier, you might find that, okay, maybe they stay for 3 months, but you've got a real issue with churn at month 4. Well, understanding that, looking at the data, knowing that, and getting to grips with the reasons behind it. Maybe you had an offer for the first 3 months and they didn't want to pay full price. Maybe box 4 wasn't as good as the other boxes. Is there any number of reasons why there might be a big churn hole? But finding it, and again addressing it, helps you to prevent the churn from happening in the first place. And of course, having a retention strategy, really, really key. So making sure that we can engage our audience, making sure that we encourage any feedback to come directly to us rather than into social media or choosing to walk with their feet, and also rewarding loyalty. We know that the subscriber demographic responds really highly to reward. So if you've got a key churn period, maybe at month 3 or 4, how about surprising and delighting them just before that period? Okay, get them over the gap, distract them from the fact that actually you know that a lot of subscribers leave at that point, and help to extend your retention that way. And by extending retention, what we're doing is we're creating a much more profitable subscription base. Okay. Now I know that we're kind of overrunning slightly, so just to end finally, if you wanted to know more about retention, as Carol said, I run the marketing training courses for Jellyfish Training. Our next retention marketing one-day course is at the end of March, and we also run a range of other courses as well, including subscription marketing. So if marketing's not quite your strength and you want to know more, then there is help available. Okay, thank you very much.